Scorpio, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early to mid November 2025. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business, as always, and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Scorpio collective. I hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do you have for us? What do you got for Scorpio gang in Scorpio season, might I add? What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see who might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Scorpio gang early to mid-November. What's the vibe? And while we get this card out, I want to once again wish you all a very happy birthday from me to you, whether it's already passed, whether it's still coming up. I really hope you have a great one, my friends. All right, cool. I haven't seen this guy in a while. Okay, so we have this dude here all dressed up fancy with that interesting haircut, right? And it's like he's watching this home movie of sorts. And I always get a smile on my face when I see him, like, oh, that's an interesting hairdo you got there, my friend. But before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the November subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk about this dapper gentleman right over here. So as you can see, we have the guys dressed up, kind of looks like an old-timey photo, and he has this little camera going and he's looking at another photo that's actually in this deck as well. Both of these cards are very similar to the Six of Cups. They can speak about reminiscing. They can speak about feeling nostalgic. They can speak about the past in one form or another. So for a lot of Scorpios in this time, when this card shows up, yeah, maybe you're taking some trips down memory lane. It's around your birthday season, looking at old pictures, thinking of old memories. Everyone knows Scorpio has a very, very long memory, and there's a lot of things contained within it. So when I see this card, you might just be reflecting on the past more so than normal. And I always say, like, with, every day or every few hours it changes. Sometimes we're looking at the present, sometimes we're thinking about the future. This one is like heavily looking at the past for one reason or another. This card can also represent things popping back up as well. So again, we'll see if that shows up within the reading itself. You might be a little more sentimental and nostalgic than you normally are when this card is here. Could have someone very particular on your mind as well, because these two cards in this deck, they are connected. They're both kind of doing the same thing, but from a distance. So we're just going to let him have his moment. He's doing his thing. Let's get into tarot. I mean, there is another thing here about entertaining yourself, too. Like, if we're talking about just doing things that you enjoy doing and having fun, like, forget the nostalgia. Maybe you just need to cut loose. But we're going to see what shows up here. And yeah, that card doesn't make or break the reading. But let's get you three cards and shuffle it up one time here for Scorpio gang. Let's see what we got. And while we get this shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. The energy was titled It's Game Over. That was the reading. Now, to me, it didn't feel like you had a whole ton of endings coming in all at once. To me, it was more so somebody having a lack of patience or saying, you know what, I'm not waiting on something any longer. I'm not messing around. I'm not playing games. So for a lot of Scorpios, you might be reaching that point with certain situations where it's like, I'm not messing around. I'm not playing games. I'm not feeding into it, even if I've fed into it in the past. And that's an energy that could bleed over for a couple weeks. But we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for Scorpio gang. What do we got? Okay. 9 of Swords. We'll get one more. Okay, King of Wands. So we got the fire-air combo making an appearance once again. There was a while, like a few months ago, where like every week we're getting the fire-air combination. I'm like, what is going on here? So we got the 9 of Swords and the King of Wands. Let's get one more out. Okay. Card. It's a Scorpio power card. So we do have the Tower. Okay, which definitely takes on a bit of a different complexion in a Scorpio reading, so I'm not really concerned about it, but it kind of fits the theme, it fits the bill with what we got going on up here in the front. So let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first glance, elementally, and I always like to look at the elements. We start here with the air. That's the realm of the mind, logic. So it's not so much creative, it's more so pragmatic. It's strategic, it's plan based, it's very intelligent, and it could also represent communication. That's what the element does. Then we have fire right here in the center. That's the realm of action. So the actions we take, the actions others take. It's our internal combustion. So our passion, drive, desire, the things that really light a fire within us. That's what's represented by the wands. It could deal with vitality as well, so like energy levels, stuff like that. But the only thing is with the fire element, it's unpredictable, right? It's explosive. There's a volatility to it. So when we mix fire and air, I always say it when it shows up. I'm always like, okay, let's see. Let's see if this is going to spark. So we're going to keep an eye on how the energy could intensify, especially as we get here to the back end. We have the tower. Now, that may look like fire and brimstone, but this is technically water energy. That's why it's the Scorpio card. And we'll get into the weeds about why it ties into Scorpio energy. But as you know, water represents the realm of feelings and emotions. It could tie into personal relationships and stuff like that, creativity and empathy. So we got a lot of energy. That's for sure. And it does feel like there's a certain intensity to it. But let's go through and start breaking this down piece by piece. Position number one, we are starting here with the Nine of Swords. And I always say that's one of the cards you don't really need to be an expert in tarot to understand. You see that individual, they're sitting up in bed, hands on the face, stressing out about something. Now, for some Scorpios, maybe there's something with your sleep schedule. Maybe you're not sleeping as sound as you normally do. Maybe you have a little insomnia. This card can also represent dreams. So spirit might be trying to commune with you or communicate with you via dream when this card is here. That's one of the good aspects of it. It's highly empathetic as well. So I know Scorpios, being that I have Scorpio placements myself, that we are usually pretty in tune with the energy of ourselves and others. That could be heightened in this time when the Nine of Swords is here. Hypersensitivity to energies. So protect that. Protect your energy in this time. But in the challenge, obviously, this is a card of losing sleep. It's a card of stress, anxiety, nerves. So it's somebody stressing about something. And we'll take a look and see, like, all right, is the energy dissipating? Is it intensifying? We'll just see what's up. Again, for some of you, it might just be pointing at your dreams. Some of you might just be pointing at, being a night owl, so to speak. Now, moving to the middle, we got our good pal here, the King of Wands. Now, this could be a fire sign, so an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Maybe you're like me and you have Scorpio and fire placements. That could be a possibility. Not gender specific, but even let's put all that aside. The king, as with all kings, represent control of their respective suits. So remember all the stuff I was saying about the wands and the fire. It's like I'm trying to direct my passions. I'm trying to direct my attention and intentions, which I think is good. So even if you're dealing with something that's quite intense or feelings that are quite intense, when I see the King of Wands, it gives me hope because this energy is like, I'm putting my energy here. I'm not wasting my energy there. I'm going to keep this, under control. But the thing is, with the King of Wands energy, it can easily get to a point where it's like, you know what? Screw it. Whatever happens, happens. This energy can get very unpredictable. Where it's like, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm very structured. And this is where my energy goes. The King of Wands is saying, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to do whatever. So we're going to have to look at him, that's for sure. He could be very unpredictable and explosive in his own right. So moving to the very back end, I was hoping I'd get a much softer energy for birthday season, but it's all good. We have the Tower. Now, in any other sign, it's something that we definitely pay very close attention to, and we still will. But since this is one of our cards, and look at all that imagery there, it is scary looking. But I mean, it is that Scorpio vibe, right? I love the Tower. Secretly, it's one of my favorite cards in the deck. Now, the thing with the Tower, it represents shock. Okay, it could represent upheavals. It could represent hitting the reset button, the refresh button, starting fresh, starting clean, which can be good. So yeah, it can represent endings or close of a cycle. In my simplistic style, since it is a Scorpio power card, the Firefire might just tell us something that's coming towards you. Right, so it doesn't have to be all fire and brimstone. Um, but not every tower is a bad tower. That's always very important to remember. So we might be starting here and then the combustion into the tower. Maybe it's a good tower for all we know. We just have to see what the clarification is. But needless to say, whatever way we interpret this card, it does have very strong intensity. So that's one thing I'm seeing across the board in the reading this week. And Scorpio carries an intense energy to begin with. It's cranked up even more. So I want to dive deeper on all of it, Scorpio. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. What do we got for Scorpio, gang? Please. And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on that Nine of Swords. See what that's about. Oh, and yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Scorpio, you can drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay. Why is the Nine of Wands here? Why is that Nine of Wands? Thank you. All right. So, are you one of those Scorpios that hold yourself to like a very, very, very high standard, almost to the point where it's unrealistic? Because I'm kind of getting that. I think it's very important in this time to be kind and empathetic to yourself and treat yourself with kindness as well. Now, that's the first thing that's showing up, but there is something else here. Scorpio is also one of those signs that I know, I don't want to say has issues with authority, but if someone tells you, like, hey, Scorpio, you have to do this, or Scorpio, you will do this, or tries to force you to do anything, that's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. And when I see the Emperor, very similar to this King of Wands, Aries energy, and again, I'm not hating on Aries, I have Aries placements. It's an energy that can try to control things, control a narrative. It could represent authority figures. And when I see it underneath this Nine of Swords, it's like, ooh, someone's pissing me off. Like, whether it is someone in a position of authority or whether it's somebody trying to force you to do something. Same goes if you're a cross watcher. Like, this energy, either to me, it has very extremely high standards for oneself, or it's somebody that's trying to force somebody to act a certain way or force somebody to do something they don't want to do. So just watch out for anything like that in this time. Now, again, I'm not the type of reader where I give the Emperor a bad rap all the time. I feel like there's a time and a place for this. So like when I see the King of Wands and the Emperor around the Nine of Swords, that's why I said it's like somebody holding themselves to a high standard. Like, no, I can't be stressed. I can't allow myself a day off. I cannot allow myself to feel bad. I have to hold myself to a high standard. So just be kind to yourself. That's very important. Whether you're going through hard times, whether you're going through good times, I think it's important that you just be kind to yourself. So I know that's a couple of different messages. Take whichever one hits. Watch out for authority figures and very forceful personalities, because even if that's something that you would clash with on a regular basis, you would clash with it even more in this time. Let's keep moving. That was a mouthful, but let's see what's up with the King of Wands. And again, more fire to add. So why is this King of Wands here? Pardon me. What is all this energy? So now we have the King of Swords underneath this King of Wands. Every action has a reaction. That's the first thing that's popping up into my mind. Now, we do have this fire air combination still here. I just want to say I do feel like this could potentially be a warning for various different situations where there could be things that intensify super quickly, or there's too many chefs in the kitchen, too many hands in the pot, too many people trying to drag the energy around in a lot of different ways. That's initially how this feels to me, because there's too many people showing up here. And I'm like, all right, this is a Scorpio reading. Why am I reading all this other energy? Too many authority figures, too many people trying to control an outcome. Now, I will say this: the King of Swords, the King of Swords clarifying the King of Wands, could be somebody planning something and about to put it into motion. That's the vibe. So whereas this one is like, go, go, you have to do it, you have to push, just pressure, pressure, pressure. This energy is much smarter about it and strategic. I'll say strategic. I don't want to say smarter. King of Wands, King of Swords, it's like, I will do it at the right time. I will do it at the perfect time. But I still think there's like this general warning overall with the energy. So there could be various situations, especially group situations, where it's like, all right, this could intensify real quick, Scorpio, or something might get out of hand, especially with the fire air. The fire air, we got the tower, we got all these energies competing. Now, for some of you, if this is all energy within you, it's like, I don't want to say it's different personalities, but it's an energy where it's like, I'm being pulled this way, and I'm being pulled that way, and I'm being pulled this way. It's like I'm being pulled in several different directions. Um, I think taking a breath first of all, because I'm getting overwhelmed by it just reading it. We're gonna keep moving. So again, if I'm getting overwhelmed, just watch out. Any group dynamics or any situation, it could just get out of hand. Because this energy forces, this one responds. That's why I was saying every action has a reaction, because this energy pushes too hard and this energy pushes back. Let's go in on the tower. Let's see what that has. Then we'll do a quick recap before we get into the shadow. So why is the tower here? All right, Scorpio. So I'm not sure if this is something like you're involved in, but there is the potential to get pulled in. I'll tell you that. We got the devil in reverse underneath the tower, where it's like, are you the tiebreaker? Are you the one to make the final decision? Are you the one to call the final shot here? Is like all this going to land in your lap? Is the fallout of whatever it is that's going on here going to land on you for you to sort it out and take care of it? Like, I don't know. That's so specific. I feel like I'm doing it personal, but watch out for any situation like that where it's like, all right, this isn't even my responsibility. Why am I handling it? Or why do I have to take care of it? You might be a problem solver type of individual in this time as well. You might be called in to help solve an issue, solve a problem. This is getting too specific for a general reading. Now, the devil, okay, another one of those fire and brimstone looking cards, even though it's Earth. Big Capricorn vibes here. So we have most of the zodiac showing up. When it shows up in reverse, especially under the tower, it's like, let's break this wheel. Let's break this mold. Let's get out of this cycle. So now I will say, in a positive sense, now is a great time for any Scorpio to break habits, to break behaviors, thought processes. Now would be a great time for you to shift any behavior or anything that you don't think is serving you out. You can do it with the energy that's available to you. But the only thing that I'm picking up here is like, all right, why are these people making something harder, and why do I have to handle it now? Now, for some of you, maybe you like being a problem solver. I know I do. I enjoy it. That's why I do what I do. I like observing issues. I like looking at situations and helping people strategize ways to potentially fix it. But we're getting so specific here. Let's go through and do a quick recap, then we'll get into the shadow card. So there are warnings here this week, and they're explosive in nature. So just know there's a lot of things that could either intensify quickly or spin a little wild. But position number one, we have the Nine of Swords with the Emperor in the upright. This, to me, if it's not issues with authority, it's somebody like forcing something, like forcing. You have to do it this way. You have to do it that way. I think it's extra important in this time for you to be kind to yourself. I know a lot of Scorpios do hold themselves to a very high standard, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you also need to be empathetic and understanding to yourself. Moving to the center, we got double king. So even more of this forceful energy. King of Wands, King of Swords, all the fire and air mixing here. So it's like one energy pushes, another energy responds. There's like a conflict type of energy going on here. It's like rams button heads. This energy is a little more strategic about it, but it's a live wire nonetheless. So again, there could be a lot of situations that just intensify quickly. And I'm hoping that the fallout doesn't fall to you to solve it, fix it, or, pick through the rubble. Because we get to the back end, we have the tower with the devil in reverse. That feels like a problem solver. So can you help? Potentially. Um, should you put all the weight of it on your shoulders? I'm not going to say whether you should or whether you shouldn't. But when I see this energy here on the back end, it's like either I'm the tiebreaker, I'm the deciding voice, or I make the final judgment on something, or I'm here to fix the problem. Just watch that you don't get pulled too deeply into other people's problems. This energy is all over the place, Scorpio. So it might be a good time to lay low. I'll follow my own advice. Please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. And yeah, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge, they could be a good thing too. So let's get you one. And if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this card out. What do we got for Scorpio gang? Thank you. Nine of Cups. I got this in the shadow of the Pisces, which I think is good. Now, the Nine of Cups is a wish fulfillment card. I usually think, all right, this is cool. I like it. Abundance, blessings, really nice. But when we come off the heels of an energy like what we were seeing, I'm going to give you the shadow sides of this card instead of just giving you the nicey nice. Now, when it comes to the Nine of Cups, it could be an energy that's too nice. Okay, so again, I know I told you to be kind to yourself, but I mean, you should still hold yourself to some sort of standard. But even when it's dealing with other people, the Nine of Cups, it's like be nice, but don't be a doormat. Be nice to people, but don't be too nice. I don't know why that's coming through. So watch out for anything like that where people might be taking advantage of your kindness. But aside from that, the Nine of Cups can also be overindulgent. So watch out for escapism. Watch out for any sort of like overindulgence or pleasure of the flesh when this card is here. And if that's not you, it could be somebody else that's a little more indulgent than they normally are. So yeah, Scorpio, that was a ride, my good friends. Thank you. And we're just going to put him over there. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the November subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation and you'd like to have a little chat with me, you can book a personal reading with me on my website, mastermetaphysics.com. You'll see my digital calendar is open for the month of November. They're filling up pretty quick, so if you'd like to have a chat, come over and see me. But for the November subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 3 copies of a lovely deck. It's fairly new. It's called Tarot of the Woodland Wardens. It has a whole bunch of fluffy critters. It's really adorable. I think everyone would like it. So if you like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, since it is November, what are you most grateful for right now? You'll be entered to win. And at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love. And I'll see you soon.